Hey warrior, inside each of us lies an invisible, silent boundary. It separates your true self from the image the world wants you to become. Most of us cross this line unknowingly. We bend, shrink, and confine ourselves just to be accepted, liked, or recognized. And it all starts so small. You let someone interrupt you and just smile awkwardly. You agree to things you don't truly believe in, just to avoid conflict. You say it's okay when it's not, simply to avoid trouble. Over time, these habits become a way of life. And before you know it, you stop living for yourself. You live for the comfort of others. Stoic philosophers warned us of this long before our time. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "I am never ceasing to be amazed. We love ourselves more than anyone else, yet care more about others' opinions than our own. We claim self-respect, but trade it for small shards of approval." Reflect on that deeply. How many times have you left a conversation replaying what you wish you had said? How often have you swallowed your pride to avoid being labeled difficult? That's where the trouble starts. When you belittle yourself, pretend weakness, or diminish your worth, you teach the world how to treat you. And truth is, the world rarely treats you better than you demand. The Stoic path isn't about arrogance. It's not about becoming cold or unreachable. It's about rooting yourself so deeply in your true nature that no one can tear you down without your permission. Life's true value isn't fame or wealth. It's living so that you matter to yourself above all else. There's an inner rule you must never break. Not for love, not for money, nor for belonging. And here lies a hard truth. When you start lowering yourself for others, you cease to respect yourself. When you stop respecting yourself, you invite others to do the same. The Stoics recognized this as a matter of integrity. Epictetus taught that you should never trade your integrity for anything lacking true worth. If something costs you your self-respect, it's too high a price, no matter the promise. So, in this video, we'll explore 5 Stoic lessons that will help you never diminish yourself again. These aren't empty words. These are practical, clear, and deeply human truths you can apply to your own life. Starting now, you will learn to stand firm without aggression, honor your voice without constant approval, and become someone who commands quiet respect. Stoicism's power isn't just in telling you what to do, but explaining why it matters. Because when you grasp this philosophy, you realize it's not about winning or losing social battles. It's about protecting the most important relationship in your life, the one with yourself. Imagine for a moment a version of you who never feels the need to justify his worth. A man who stands tall when challenged. A man who knows when to stay silent, when to speak up, and when to walk away when respect is lost. That version isn't a fantasy. It's a skill you can build, but only if you stop shrinking yourself and start living by a rule no one can break. By the end of this video, you'll have 5 clear Stoic lessons to anchor your inner strength, dignity, and significance. These lessons aren't to impress others. They're to claim your respect by never betraying yourself. Remember, the respect you give yourself sets the price the world pays when dealing with you. Before we begin, I want you to make a commitment not to me, but to yourself. Promise that from this day forward, you will no longer diminish yourself for those who never grew up for you. If you're ready, stay with me until the end. Don't skip any part, for each lesson builds upon the last. And if this message speaks to you, like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone losing their self-worth, and subscribe so we can walk this path together. If you stand with me, write in the comments today, I affirm my value. First, stop over-explaining yourself to others. One of the fastest ways to diminish yourself without realizing it is to justify your actions, decisions, or dreams too much. You might think it's polite or that you want to be understood, but the truth is, when you over-explain, you hand over your power. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught, if you want to be a writer, then write. He never said, if you want to be a writer, explain to everyone why you write, so they accept you. The Stoics understood our actions should speak for themselves. The more you explain, the more you invite others to find faults, question motives, and plant doubt in your mind. Over-explaining often stems from insecurity, the subtle belief that your choices hold no value until someone else agrees with them. This is lowering yourself to the point of asking permission to be who you are. In doing so, you hand over control to others. You tell the world, I don't fully trust my own judgment unless you confirm it. This is a hard truth to face. Not everyone will agree with your decisions. Not everyone will understand them. And that's perfectly fine. You owe no one an explanation for living your life. If someone dislikes what you do, that's their emotional burden to carry, not your problem to fix. Consider how much time and energy you've wasted trying to justify your path to those who never walked it with you. You justify why you left a job, ended a relationship, changed your lifestyle, or pursued something new. Yet half the people you explain to won't be there when you stumble. Stoicism teaches us that peace arises from focusing on what's within your control, not on others' opinions. Every moment spent trying to make someone understand you is a moment stolen from living your truth. When you stop over-explaining, you send a clear message. I trust myself enough to move forward without your approval. This is a powerful form of self-respect. It requires clarity, not arrogance. You don't have to be rude. You don't need to push others away. But you must realize your life isn't a courtroom where every decision needs defending before a jury. Look at those who carry quiet confidence. They don't bombard you with endless reasons for their actions. They simply act. And because they act without endless explanations, people naturally respect them more. It's crucial to understand that over-explaining isn't just about talking too much. It's about diminishing your own standing. Imagine presenting an idea in a meeting. If you immediately start listing excuses, it shows doubt. But if you present your idea simply and stop there, you radiate certainty. Stoicism simplifies this. Know your worth. Make decisions rooted in your values. Let your actions speak louder than your words. When you stand firm in what matters, you don't owe anyone an explanation for every choice. People will judge regardless, but those judgments will simply bounce off a stronger, more grounded version of you. Next time you feel the urge to explain yourself to someone who doesn't need it, pause. Ask yourself, does this person's understanding truly matter for my progress? If not, your silence will be far more powerful than any excuse. Seneca advised, associate with those who can make you better. Notice he didn't say, associate with those who always understand you. Not everyone will comprehend your path, and they don't have to. The key is for you to understand yourself. The one who constantly explains loses his value to others. The person who acts with steadfast resolve becomes truly significant, not because others say so, but because they've stopped living for external validation If you want to stop belittling yourself forever, start here. Cut down on explanations. Speak when necessary. Stand firm in your decisions without needing applause. Your life will instantly feel lighter, and your presence will grow stronger. Remember, the truly important don't announce their importance. They live in a way that leaves no doubt. Now, take a moment and type this below if you're ready to trust yourself more. I no longer explain my worth. Number 2. Never compete for someone's attention. One of the worst ways to diminish yourself is chasing after those who don't value your presence. It might be friends, lovers, or even colleagues. We push ourselves to exhaustion, not for our goals, but just to be noticed, chosen, to feel important to someone. This is a painful truth. When you compete for someone's attention, you silently tell them their acceptance matters more than your dignity. And when you set that tone, they will believe it. The Stoics saw this clearly. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul is dyed by its thoughts." If your mind is always spinning, how do I get them to notice me? How do I prove my worth to them? Your actions will reveal desperation. And desperation is the fastest way to be seen as less valuable. This is wisdom to remember. Genuine respect and real connection cannot be forced. If someone recognizes your worth, they'll act accordingly without you having to put on a show. Otherwise, your efforts will never be enough because they don't see you through the lens of your true value. Chasing attention is like putting your spirit up for auction, where your worth is constantly renegotiated. You hand over the power to others to decide if you win or lose, and that's a dangerous place to be. Stoics warn us against letting external things disturb our inner peace. Here lies the trap. Sometimes you catch their attention briefly. They might respond, show interest, or praise you. But it's fleeting because the foundation isn't respect, it's your relentless effort. The moment you stop trying, that connection fades, and you're left chasing again. This cycle drains your energy and teaches you to measure yourself by how much attention you get, rather than the value you bring. The Stoic way is to step out of that race completely. Don't even enter that game. If someone makes you fight for their time or recognition, it's a clear sign they don't value you as much as you deserve. Reflect on the most respected men. You know they don't sit around wondering how to get noticed. Their focus is on their mission, principles, and growth. And because of that, people naturally gravitate toward them. Attention follows living with purpose. It's a byproduct, not a pursuit. Instead of asking how to grab their attention, start asking if you truly want the attention of someone who won't appreciate you without your constant effort. Seen this way, the answer becomes unmistakably clear. Epictetus taught, to progress, be willing to appear foolish and misunderstood. In other words, be ready for others to misjudge your value while you quietly build it. The right people will recognize it without you needing to advertise. This doesn't mean you become cold or distant. It means you stop performing for approval. You can still engage sincerely. You can still care. But stop tying your self-worth to whether they notice you. This is crucial. Others sense when you're trying too hard to please, even if you hide it behind jokes, help, or over-involvement. That energy remains. And energy speaks louder than words. When you let go of the struggle for attention, something remarkable happens. You reclaim your power. You shift from, "Please look at me," to, "I know who I am, and I won't shrink just to be seen." Over time, The right people will notice you without effort. Ironically, those who once ignored you will wonder why you stopped trying. That's when you realize attention was cheap all along. What you really need is respect, and that comes only when you refuse to beg for it. If you want to live as a man of significance, understand that importance isn't granted by others' eyes. It's claimed first in your own mind. So stop running a race you never signed up for. Stand your ground. Let them pass if they must. You have a different destination. Thirdly, learn the power of leaving without warning. Most believe strength is in fighting, proving yourself, or winning arguments. But one of the purest forms of strength is walking away silently, no announcements, no explanations, no justifications. When you lower yourself, it's often because you linger too long where you're not valued. You stay hoping they'll change. You stay waiting for them to finally see your worth. You stay because you don't want to feel like you gave up. But truth is, staying where you're drained isn't loyalty. It's betrayal to yourself. The Stoics knew sometimes the bravest act is letting go. Seneca wrote, "Associate with those who make you better. Welcome those you can improve as well." The process is mutual. People learn by teaching. Take his words to heart. If a relationship doesn't help you grow or improve your life and character, it's not worth keeping. Leaving isn't cold. It's protecting your mind, dignity, and future. That's why leaving without warning matters. If you announce, "I'll leave if nothing changes," you're giving them the chance to manipulate that moment. They might promise temporarily, behave differently for a short while, or say exactly what you want to hear just to keep you around. But then the toxic cycle repeats. Leaving quietly means you've decided you've given enough. You don't need their understanding, agreement, or approval. You realize your energy is too valuable to waste, explaining why you choose peace over chaos. Reflect on the dignity found in silence. No begging, no drama, no final speech to make them understand. Just action. You walk away. You move forward. You reclaim your space. Those who truly care will recognize and sincerely reach out. Those who don't simply won't. That's how you learn who truly belongs in your life. Stoicism teaches us not to be controlled by what we cannot manage. You can't control whether others respect, treat you well, or value your presence. But you can control if you stay in that environment. And when you choose to leave, you prove to yourself that you honor your own worth. Leaving without warning changes you internally. It teaches you to rely on your own standards, not others' reactions. It strengthens the muscle of self-respect. It shows you don't need permission to walk away from what harms you. This also sends a message not only to them, but to yourself, that you won't accept treatment beneath your value. This doesn't mean cutting ties impulsively over small mistakes. It means recognizing repeated patterns. If someone consistently shows they don't value you, believe it. And when you believe it, you act without waiting for them to suddenly change. This approach applies beyond relationships. It fits work, friendships, and any environment that consistently diminishes your worth. You don't need public announcements or lengthy explanations. You simply step away, moving towards spaces where you are respected and valued. The power of this principle lies in quiet confidence. People notice, you don't cling. Don't try to force your way in. And don't beg for acceptance. Paradoxically, that earns their respect. Marcus Aurelius said simply, "The best revenge is to be unlike the one who harmed you." In other words, you don't need to fight, argue, or respond to disrespect. You rise above by stepping out of their reach. Remember this every time you choose to leave what falls short of your standards. You lose nothing. You protect what's most precious, yourself. I want you to leave this affirmation in the comments. My silence is my strength. Number 4. Guard your time as if it were gold. Lowering yourself isn't just about words or relationships. It's also about how you allow your time to be wasted. When you give away hours carelessly, you tell the world your life isn't worth protecting. The Stoic philosophers understood that time is life itself. Senezarot. It is not that we have little time, but that we waste much. Every minute spent is a piece of your life you can never reclaim. Yet, how often do you give your time to people and things that drain you? How often do you commit out of guilt, habit, or fear of disappointing others, only to regret later? Viewing time as endless invites others to treat it the same way. They call on you any time, ask you to do what they could handle themselves, expecting you always to be available. If you always say yes, they will never truly value your presence because you've made it cheap. Protecting your time isn't selfish or closed-hearted. It means understanding that saying yes to one thing means saying no to another. Without intention, you might be denying your own growth, peace, and dreams. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, and time is one of the few things within your power. You decide where to invest your time, who to give it to, and what to create with it. Using time wisely shows self-respect. Imagine someone gives you $86, $400 to spend. In one day, you'd be careful, right? You wouldn't hand it to strangers or buy things you don't care about. Yet every day you receive 86, 400 seconds. Most people spend them as if they hold no value. When you don't honor time, regret follows. Looking back, you realize you spent hours, days, even years on things that didn't serve you. Stoic philosophers call this a moral failure, not because you lived wrongly, but because you lived without awareness. Protecting your time requires clear boundaries. You must be comfortable saying no without justifying yourself. You must make time for yourself and treat it as a vital appointment because you matter. This also means cutting out time wasters from your life. Not just people, but habits too. Endless scrolling, pointless arguments, taking on tasks you don't care about. This is how you unknowingly diminish your own worth. You might think it's just 20 minutes here, an hour there, but those minutes add up to a life spent on what doesn't matter. When you guard your time, you unlock a powerful truth. Others begin to respect it as well. If they see you don't waste your time, they won't easily waste it for you. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." To live well means to use your time wisely, investing it in what strengthens you, brings peace, and aligns with your values. Never degrade yourself by being perpetually available for distractions that pull you away from the life you desire. Before committing to anything, ask yourself, if this were my last week alive, would I want to spend time on this? If the answer is no, reconsider before agreeing. The more intentional you are with your time, the more meaningful your life becomes, and a meaningful life leaves no room for time thieves. So protect your time like precious gold. It's the one asset you can never reclaim. When you're ready to treat time as a treasure, declare it to the world, my time is priceless. I spend it with purpose. Speak less, but say more. One way we diminish ourselves is by talking too much, especially when it's just to fill silence, show off, or seek approval. Words carry power, but scattered and constant chatter dilutes their weight. The Stoics prized restraint. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, believed speech should serve truth and purpose, not ego or impulse. Epictetus taught, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we may listen twice as much as we speak. The more you speak, the more chances you give others to misunderstand, twist your words, or judge you prematurely. More importantly, meaningless speech erodes the value of your voice. Think of those you respect most. They rarely dominate every conversation. They listen deeply, observe carefully, then speak with precision. When they talk, you pay attention because their words are never wasted. Speaking less naturally adds weight to what you say. People learn that when you speak, it's worth hearing. This creates a quiet authority not from manipulation, but from deliberate purpose. Speaking less also gives you space to think. Many lose respect by speaking in anger, making promises they don't keep, or revealing things they regret. Stoics believe in pausing between stimulus and response, giving the mind time to filter out what's unnecessary before acting or speaking. This is the essence of never diminishing yourself again. When you speak without purpose, you're often trying to prove something, filling silence to avoid being ignored. But this stems from fear of being overlooked, misunderstood, forgotten. The truth is, people remember silence more than noise. They remember those who stay calm amid chaos, who don't constantly defend themselves or waste energy explaining endlessly. This isn't about being cold or distant, but letting your silence speak volumes. When you no longer need to fill every moment with words, your actions, presence, and consistency do the talking for you. Speaking less is an act of discipline, and discipline reflects self-respect. It tells the world you don't need to showcase everything to prove your worth. You reveal what matters on your terms. The less you disclose, the less control others have over your story. You decide what to share, when, and with whom. This kind of self-control naturally earns respect. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." A simple filter: act only when it's right. Speak only when it's true. Imagine if every word you uttered passed that test. How much stronger, clearer, and deeper would your communication be practically? Here's how. Before speaking, pause briefly. Ask yourself, is this necessary? Does it add value? Listen actively, not just to reply, but to understand. Replace empty words with purposeful presence. Let your calm confidence fill the space, not noise. Remember, silence can be an answer, a boundary, and a statement all at once. When you master the art of speaking less but meaning more, you stop chasing influence. It comes to you naturally. People listen, and when you speak, your words carry the weight of a man who knows his own worth. Instead of filling the room with noise to feel important, step into the power of deliberate silence. Let others sense the strength in your presence before they hear your voice. If you're ready to speak with purpose and power, share below. My silence holds strength. My words carry weight. Lowering yourself is rarely a clear moment. It's a slow erosion, a little compromise here, a small silence there, an extra effort for those who never lend a hand. Over time, these small moments pile up, and you look in the mirror wondering why you feel invisible. The Stoics remind us that importance doesn't come from titles, applause, or who is the loudest in the room. It comes from living by principles you never betray. Importance is found in the quiet confidence with which you walk, certain that your value is not negotiable. Each lesson is a reminder that respect begins with yourself. If you want others to see your worth, first decide you are worthy and live that truth without ever begging for recognition. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Understanding this reveals your true strength. You cannot control how others perceive you, but you can control how you see yourself. And when you decide never to lower yourself again, the world will adjust accordingly. If you've watched this video to the end, remember that your value is not something anyone can give or take away. It belongs to you to protect, live by, and honor. Like this video, share it, leave your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for deeper Stoic lessons.